Today I went looking for snakes, and it actually got insane. But the first few finds weren't snakes. This is a red-spotted newt, although this one has very faded spots. Next I found this toad, and then just a little down the trail was another newt. These newts really like wet conditions. Then I made it to this lookout, but there were still no snakes. After that I found another newt and this awesome slimy salamander. These guys get pretty big. Next, I finally found a snake. This is a young ringneck snake, but that was just the beginning because after a few more newts, I flipped this rock and found a gorgeous baby copperhead. Look at those patterns. I had to poke him out with a stick so I could put his rock back. Then I finally made it to the second lookout, and that's where things really got started. First, I spotted this adult copperhead and this huge black rat snake. Look at this friendly guy. This is one of my favorite species to find. And while I was still looking at him, I noticed this amazingly camouflaged copperhead and this beautiful timber rattlesnake. This might have been my favorite snake of the day. After that, I found another copperhead, and then another. You really have to watch your step out here. Then I released the black rat snake and continued on my hike, where I found a giant millipede, another newt, a tiny pickerel frog, another newt, and another newt. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I found some wildlife by this creek, starting with this queen snake.
Oh, he barely even tried to get away.
These guys are interesting because they specialize in eating crayfish. Speaking of crayfish, that was the next thing I found. They were everywhere in this creek, so that queen snake must be eating well. After that, I started looking under some rocks, and I pretty quickly found a hellgrammite.
Ooh, a hellgrammite.
This terrifying larva will eventually become a Dobson fly. Just a few rocks later, I found this huge fishing spider.
Whoa, look at the size of that fishing spider.
If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some wildlife. Today I found some snakes while hiking, starting with this black timber rattlesnake. This is one of my favorite species to find, and this one was in the middle of the trail. Next I found this beautiful copperhead, which was sitting in some rocks right near two beautiful timber rattlesnakes. I especially like the yellow one. And not far from those were two more rattlesnakes. After that I hiked for a while, and eventually I noticed another black timber rattlesnake, but this one didn't stick around for long. But right near him was this bigger copperhead. Look at that beautiful pattern. Then I found two more rattlesnakes in a pile. Look at the rattles on these guys. And finally, as I was heading out, I spotted one last timber rattlesnake. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for snakes by a creek, and I was not disappointed. But the first thing I found wasn't a snake. It was this beautiful long-tailed salamander I found under a rock. After that, I looked in this dead tree and spotted a baby garter snake. I'm surprised this little guy could climb all the way up there. After I looked at him for a moment, I let him go back in the tree. Then I found this angry little northern water snake under a rock. Luckily, their teeth are super tiny, so I'm not too worried about getting bit. The next rock I flipped had a bigger water snake. Next, I started walking on a trail by the creek, and I noticed this basking water snake. Here's another angle. I picked him up, and he turned out to be very friendly. Then I looked under this rock and found some more rocks. The next rock I flipped had a water snake underneath, but he didn't stick around for long. This garter snake did though, so I had to move him out of the way to put his rock back. After I let that garter go, I climbed up to this rocky mountaintop and looked under a rock, which had this awesome eastern milk snake underneath. This is one of my favorite species to find, and I really wish I saw them more often. They really seem to like cameras for some reason, and they have a really cool pattern on their bellies. After I released him, I climbed back down to the creek and spotted this big common snapping turtle. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for snakes in the mountains of Pennsylvania, and it didn't take me long to find this small yellow-faced timber rattlesnake. Look at the tiny rattle on this guy. And not far from him was this much bigger black one basking in the sun. After that, I found this northern water snake in the same area. Unlike those rattlesnakes, these are completely harmless. Here's another look at this guy. He's got some really nice bands on him. Then I went to a different spot and looked under a rock, but found nothing. But then, just a few rocks later, I flipped this beautiful 5-line skink. Look at that gorgeous blue tail. This is one of the few lizard species that can be found in Pennsylvania. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for snakes, and I found some in some pretty unexpected places. The first snake I found was this black rat snake up in a tree. This is one of my favorite non-venomous species to find because they're very friendly. They also get really big, as you can see. Next I looked under a rock and found this nice-sized northern water snake. These guys are often very defensive, but they quickly calm down when they realize I'm not trying to hurt them. Look at that beautiful belly pattern. After I let him go back under his rock, I looked under this bridge and found another black rat snake. This guy was a bit smaller, but still around 4 feet long. Next I noticed this nice-sized garter snake, but he got away. After that, I climbed up a mountain to this open rocky area where I noticed a timber rattlesnake. Here's another look. This is easily my favorite snake species, although they're highly venomous. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for snakes, and I found an old bridge that was absolutely infested with them. The first one I noticed was this little garter snake. Then I spotted another one. This one's a northern water snake. Number 3 was another garter snake. Then I walked a little farther and noticed number 4 and number 5. I can tell this is one of their favorite spots because of all the shed skins. It wasn't long until I spotted number 6, and number 7 was very well hidden. Number 8 was another water snake. Here's a closer look at this big guy. Number 9 almost jumped into the water, but then decided against it. Number 10 was yet another water snake, and so were 11 and 12. After that, I noticed another garter, number 13, and then 14, 15, 16, and 17, although I may have already counted some of these ones. Next, I left the bridge and spotted another garter snake, but when I came back to the bridge, I saw this beautiful eastern milk snake. This was easily the best snake of the day. After I released that guy, I went out to a power line cut where I noticed this big northern water snake. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for rattlesnakes on this snake-infested ridge in Pennsylvania, and it didn't take me long to find one right on the side of the trail. This one has a beautiful pattern and is pretty small for a timber rattlesnake. The next one I spotted was much bigger and it had a completely different look. I got a little closer and he started rattling. I think it's awesome how much variety there is within this species. After that I noticed this pile of 2, and they were both very dark colored. Here's another look. Notice the beautiful chocolate brown coloration on their backs. After a little bit they got annoyed with me and one of them left. But then I noticed this perfectly intact shed skin. Look at the size of this thing. Who knows, this might belong to one of the snakes in this video. After that, I looked in this crevice and spotted an eastern milk snake. Unlike rattlesnakes, these guys are completely harmless. Next, I spotted yet another timber rattlesnake, probably the darkest one of the day. Look at the size of this guy. It may not be the most beautiful rattlesnake around, but definitely an absolute unit. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for snakes in Vermont and I ended up finding something pretty rare. But first I found these garter snakes, which got away.
2 garters.
Next I looked under some boards and found nothing. But not long after that I spotted 2 garter snakes in the grass. After releasing those guys, I went to a different spot nearby where I noticed another garter snake. This guy didn't even try to get away. Here's a closer look. As long as you're gentle, these snakes are usually pretty chill, but you should always put them back where you found them. Then I found yet another garter snake, and this guy had a bit more personality, so I let him go pretty quickly. But then a friend of mine found something really cool. This is an absolutely stunning eastern milk snake. Check out the bright red coloration on this guy. I don't find these quite as often as I'd like to, so this was awesome. After I released that milk snake, I found another garter snake, and then I went to a different spot where I found this guy under a rock. This is also a garter snake, but it has a very different look. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for snakes in Yellowstone National Park, but I ended up finding a lot more than just snakes. The first animal I spotted after entering the park was this pronghorn. This is the second fastest land animal on Earth, but it wasn't a snake, so I kept moving. Then I saw this elk and this huge bison. This guy got a little close for comfort. Next, I found this deep gorge, which had an absolutely beautiful waterfall, but not a single snake. Then I found this canyon, which had an even bigger waterfall. Here's a closer look. This one was 300 feet tall, but this area was home to 0 snakes, so I moved on. Next, I found some hot springs. This area was super weird. If I was a snake, I'm not sure I'd want to live here, but I kept searching anyways. Then I found this huge valley, and there was something crazy happening on the other side, but this is the only footage I could get. These wolves are eating a bison, but from this distance I couldn't see any snakes. Next I went on a hike where I found this very friendly grouse. This guy just let me walk right past. Actually there were a lot of grouse in this area, but no snakes. After that I saw this mud volcano, and right near that was finally a snake. Unfortunately, I couldn't get very close to this guy, but this was my very first western terrestrial garter snake. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for snakes in one of the most beautiful places on Earth, Glacier National Park, and I ended up seeing a lot more than just snakes. The first thing I found while walking along this river was a really cool bridge with a mountain backdrop. However, there were no snakes here, so I moved on, until I made it to this incredible ancient forest. The size of these trees will never show on camera, but this is genuinely one of my favorite places I've ever been, despite having no snakes. Next, I found some more mountains, and it was starting to warm up, so if I was gonna find snakes, it would happen pretty soon. Despite the heat, I found this glacier. There probably aren't very many snakes out there. After that, I found my first animal of the day, but it wasn't a snake. It was this butterfly. Then I found a little waterfall, and then a bigger waterfall, but I still couldn't find any snakes. After that, I left the park and went to a different spot, not too far away, where I found this beautiful common garter snake. Look at the red spots on this guy. He was also very friendly, definitely my favorite garter snake I've ever found. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes. Today I went looking for something I've always wanted to see, baby rattlesnakes, and I was not disappointed. However, the first rattlesnake I found wasn't a baby. It was this beautiful yellow-faced timber rattlesnake, but not far from that guy was my main target for the day. Underneath underneath the rattle of another adult. Look at this beautiful baby timber rattlesnake, and right near that was another baby. These guys have really nice patterns. Next, I found another adult timber rattlesnake, this time a black phase. These guys have so much variation, which I think is really cool. And while I was still looking at that guy, I noticed something I've never found before. This is a rattlesnake rattle, and these fall off occasionally because they're pretty fragile. Then I found a few more adult rattlesnakes and another baby, but when I looked under the rock, I realized there were tons of them here. I don't like using my snake hook on venomous species like this, but I couldn't resist getting a closer look. Fortunately, timber rattlesnakes are very laid back, so this was an awesome encounter. If you enjoyed this video, get off your phone and go find some snakes.